Hello, welcome. Let's talk about attachments. This is one of the most simple features of Obsidian. It's right up there with linking notes together and then tags, attachments, and putting PDFs and images into your notes is one of the bare bones easiest things to do, but there's also a way to use it that I don't see anybody else talking about that can completely transform how you keep track of things in your entire computer. So if you are like me and you don't remember anything, well, that's why you need your own personal knowledge database. But what I don't like is my database or file folder, file management system forcing me to rename things or be overly particular about folder structure. I don't want to do that. I want to think the way that I think, and my computer to help me do that. And this is exactly how we're going to make that work. So if you're a creative, divergent thinker like me, this is absolutely for you. If you are more of a type A organized person, then this is also for you because it might show you a new way of keeping track of everything and being very tidy with your files. And hopefully it'll open up some new opportunities for you. So without any further ado, let's dive in to the YouTube Vault. In order to show how this all works, let's go ahead and dive back into the standard Vault. And the way that it is set up right now is pretty much factory stock, as long as I've made all the changes to the Vault in all the previous videos. So if you're wondering how this works or that works, it's somewhere in one of the videos that I've made. But for this, we are going to look at how attachments are handled in Obsidian and then different ways to leverage that so that we can find things without having to go through our Finder or File Explorer program, which is huge for me. So check this out. We've got a note open called Attachment Experiment, and we'll just run this. So Command P to bring up the command palette, and we're going to insert an attachment. And then I've got some of these examples, and we'll use a colorful illustration. And there it is. Now, right over here on the side with the folders, you can see the colorful illustration with flat shading, .png was added to the root folder. And that is how Obsidian is set up by default. And that doesn't really work for me, but let me show you where you can make tweaks and this will all make sense. So we can hit Command, comma to bring up our settings, and then files and links is what you're looking for. And then down here, default location for new attachments. And it's by default the Vault folder, top level folder. That's where everything goes. Well, for me, I have up here the folder to create new notes in is the void, because I don't always organize where the note is going to be before I make the note. So I just make the note and then start typing stuff in. And if it winds up being big enough and warrants it, I will then move it to the place where it belongs. But if it just gets made for a few short moments and then never see it again, I know it's going to be in the void. And for me, I specifically do it in one folder. So you would go in the folder specified below. Well, I don't have an attachments folder. So what I need to do is close this out, go up here, and then add an attachments folder. And there it is. It'll live right there. So then now when I go to Command, comma, and then say in the folder specified below, when I click here, I should be able to either find it, but man, I got a lot things here. So it's here, or you can type in and it will filter down to the proper folder. So then now I can delete this colorful illustration and say, okay, it couldn't be found. Well, obviously, because I just deleted it. So now if we go to attachment and then add the same image, well, it didn't add it to the main folder area. It added it to the attachments folder. So now anytime that I add an attachment to the vault, it's always going to live in this attachments folder. And then even if you have 30 gigs worth of stuff, it'll all be here. Now, some people say, well, I prefer to be a little more tidy. I prefer to keep things in files and folders and that kind of thing. Well, you can still do that with the attachments. So let's go back to our settings and then go to default location for new attachments and then say, well, we could have it go in the same folder as the current file that you're working on. Now, if you are different from me, if you go to a folder, then create new note inside that folder, or you will create the note and then move it to a folder before you need an attachment, then same folder as current file will work just fine. Same deal with in subfolder under current folder. So maybe all of your notes are going to be in this folder, and then you want all of your working assets to be in a subfolder of that particular folder where that attachment's going to be. You would want to do this if you want to keep track of this project is in this folder and all related attachments will be here, rather than having it all be in one folder like a mess. If you prefer to have more organization, then in subfolder under current folder will probably work best for you. What's neat about this is that you can tell it what you want that subfolder name to be whenever it creates that subfolder. So you can see that it will be under whatever vault folder / attachments, or if you want to call it assets or working files, whatever you want to call this, probably attachments. Now, if we do it this way, we can clear this out and then go into people. I will just say it's me, and then let's insert another attachment. And here is a thumbnail from a previous video where I teach people a mind reading trick. So this is here, and now you can see under people, there's the note that we just opened. I dropped this attachment in, and it automatically created an attachments folder and put the image inside. So this way, if you prefer to go through and keep track of your files and folders through your normal file system, then since Obsidian vaults are just a whole bunch of folders anyway, you can still keep track of where your attachments are for different projects and folders because it's all right here anyway. So if you like to be overly fastidious and want to keep the folder structure and use your attachments that way, you can do that. So that is kind of the nuts and bolts of how attachments work and how you can keep them organized. But even still, this is what I wanted to get through all of that so that we could talk about this stuff, which is maybe we worked on this file and I want to open today's notes and say, had a meeting with Jonathan. Okay. And we'll we'll just turn that into a to-do item and say, yep, had a meeting with Jonathan. And then we could also say that, let's say we had fun with the AI image creator, and I'm using it in a project. Well, I'm using it in a project AI image. So what I just did is reference a note that doesn't exist. So then we can click, and then let's say that in the general attachments, we've got this folder. So if I go back to that note and then just drag this in, I can say this is AI and say I liked this because of the bright colors, primary palette, and fun magic imagery. Felt happy, and it was nice contrast to the rain today. Okay, so that's there. And we've got this there, and we've got today with Project AI image. Okay, now, if I needed to find that particular image through my file folder system, I would have to remember where I put it, and chances are it's probably in my downloads folder because that's just where everything goes. Or I would have to remember its file name, and then I would have to remember that it's colorful illustration with flat shading.png or whatever it wound up being called, and I would have no clue. Well, there are now multiple ways that I can find this image. Even if I close out everything, I can say, oh man, I made it the same day I had a meeting with Jonathan. So let me open Jonathan Pritchard, and well, it's not in here, but let's see what linked mentions. Okay, well, let's go to the one that's the most recently modified. I had a meeting with Jonathan Pritchard. Okay, maybe that's it. Oh, right. We had fun with the AI image creator, and I'm using it in Project AI Image. Oh, that is the project I was using it in. Oh, there it is. I just found it that way. So the more interconnected it is, the more ways I had to remember what was going on with and around this image or file or PDF or any kind of attachment. Because now, since I added all this stuff to it, I could go to search and say rain. And instead of file name, I want modified time, new to old. So, oh, Project AI image. Oh, yeah, that's it. Or I could imagine, oh, it's an AI thing, and oh, there's the daily note. Oh, but also Project AI image, and there it is. So this way, your ideas around files are now just as valuable as the files themselves, because now you aren't beholden to remembering the file name or being too strict about the folder conventions if you put a lot of metadata in and around the file when you put it into the note. So you could get into the habit of making a new note and say, that cool image I made for Obsidian or for 720 system. Okay. And then it's in the void. but I don't want my attachments folder to be in the void. So I'm going to change the file locations default to be in the folder specified below. And I want that to be attachments. And then this will work the way that I want it to work. So I still have the problem of it being all in one folder, but I will have all this stuff around, because when I put in the attachment and then go here, I can say something like, this is the purple gem to represent deep game dynamics of mystery, meaning, and magic. Okay. So there we go, and say 720 system, and that's it. So now I made just that note for that deep game thing. So now I can be like deep game. Oh, there it is. And then I could also say, all right, I want to reveal reveal file in navigation right here at the bottom. So now it shows me where it's hiding. So then if I'm doing another note, like 720 system explained, I can say that deep game is magic, meaning, and the mystery of life. And I could say, you know what? This belongs right there. So the attachment just lives here, and then it can be embedded as an attachment to any note in your vault. So it doesn't have to live in the folder where you're embedding it. It just lives in the attachments thing, and there it is. But and if you go here, you can say, oh, 720 system explained. Oh yeah, it's this one. Okay. A reveal file in navigation. Here's the actual file as it is. All right, neat. Or you can go deep game and then, oh, that cool image I made for 720. And then here's all the metadata around this file that you want. Or say, new favorite RPG or TTRPG. And let's do an attachment. And here in the downloads, let's say Sprawlgoons Carbon Edition. Okay. So then I can say Cyberpunk. Oh, I gotta hit another enter. And then Cyberpunk Dark Rules Light, whatever. Futuristic. Okay. And now you could say played whatever the note is. Oh, let's do that. Can I do this where you just drag it in? And no. 24, 625. All right. Go. Played on that day. And then have notes. Game night. Here are all my notes. But then you're like, you know what? Let extract current selection to game night. And that's it. Here are all my notes. Used new favorite as the rule set. So now it's all sorts of connected, because you can open it here and see it and read it. So then you could go, oh man, it's my favorite. Oh, favorite art. My favorite. Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. Neat. Or you could just go through and look because of the hashtags or the day you used it. So that's what I mean by the power of embedding documents and attachments and images and PDFs and anything that you want to keep track of. Make a new note with a descriptive title, embed it, and then write everything under it that you could possibly think about, and then link it different ways. And then it will make a lot more sense. You're giving yourself more opportunities to find the information that you need when you need it by looking for it the way that you think to look for it, not the way that your computer demands you find it, which is through the folder structure or by the name only. So that's a longer explanation that I hope is useful to you. And now I want to fill you in on a couple last things at the good camera.
So what do you think? Is that the way that you use attachments? Did that blow your mind? Are you like, oh, I think I might use attachments that way? I would absolutely love to hear from you. And the best way to do that is to hit the thumbs up. That tells YouTube and the all-powerful algorithm that other folks like you might enjoy watching this specific video. And in general, if you like this kind of stuff, or you are interested in making a living as a creator, as a writer, graphic designer, artist, illustrator, copywriter, any kind of creator, if you are a solopreneur, entrepreneur, or business owner, I think you are a creator because you are creating value in the marketplace. And that's why I've created plus1creator.com. So come sign up for the email list. You'll be the first to know about new courses that we're launching and group training and how to pitch, how to sell more effectively, how to brand yourself, positioning in the marketplace, all that kind of stuff about what you need to do to make a full-time living doing what it is you love doing. And I love sharing everything over there, and I would love for you to be a part of it. Well, that's it for now. I am going to trust YouTube to recommend the next video of mine for you to watch. And in the meantime, always remember, if you can change your mind, you can change your life.